Hey everyone, welcome to the second annual Global Goddess Fest, a week-long virtual festival inspiring, activating, and connecting female leaders, educators, and creatives and entrepreneurs worldwide. So excited to have you all here today. And our guest today is Pamela French, who's calling in from Ontario, Canada. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's such an honor.
Yeah, so Pamela and I met while traveling and going on a sailing trip through the Greek islands. And just she was sharing her authentic relating um, circles and work with the group, and it was really, really powerful. It was such a beautiful experience, and we all got to dive into understanding our own stories and sharing each other's stories, and it was like instant family connections, that sort of deep bonds. So Pamela was guiding us in that, and her spirit and her energy was just so bright and vibrant, and also just very grounded and nurturing. And I thought she would be an amazing addition to the Global Goddess Fest. So excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Rayanne. It's such an honor. One thing I love is that the more I do what I love, the more others receive it the way you've just described. And it's
Mm.
such a joy.
It's amazing. And you have this like really rich, earthy mama energy that is like bringing together, like just really connecting with nature and ceremony and just kind of this sacredness to life. So I love that. And so the company and your business is all around Priestess Rising. Let's just start there. Do you want to tell us more about what Priestess Rising is all about?
Yeah, I'm defining priestess for myself right now as someone who's taken on cultivating a relationship with the seen and the unseen.
Mm.
And so, you can think of that as a witch or, there's many different titles for it. But for me, I really connected with priestess. And as you said, like I love nature. I grew up on a farm and we had big gardens and our lives were built around the cycles of the earth. And cultivating that relationship even more as I'm an adult now is so rewarding. There's so many lessons and wisdom to be had from, well, nature, what I can see, and also that which I cannot see.
Hmm. Definitely. And so um, I read a bit about like you going into your kitchen and creating things in there, and then like I just love how you blend all the different medicines together. Um, we're talking about like the witch, like create this perfect like potion.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one reason why I'm combining all of the things that I love in Priestess Rising.
Mm.
Because there's an element of intention inside of creating these potions or elixirs. I just finished making a fire cider. It's like
Mm.
a mix of all of these root vegetables like onions and garlic and turmeric and apple cider vinegar. And they say like a shot a day keeps the flu away.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so it's like having a conversation with all of these things that I'm mixing together and then infusing these jars with loving intention makes it such a joy for me.
Totally.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you're like all throughout your life, this has been a big part of it, or has it kind of like come in and out?
It ebbs and flows. Sometimes I get distracted by shiny things. And I want to go off and like do other things, and then all of a sudden I'll wake up one day and I'll realize like I'm not feeling like myself right now, and then something will come up and I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to get back to the kitchen or back to the garden or something
Mm.
of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Definitely. And so I love the definition that you gave for inspire when we were talking prior to this recording. And you're saying inspire, like in spirit, on fire, driven by passion. Do you want to just kind of like flow off of that and share a little bit more about how Inspire has been a part of your life?
Absolutely. So long in my life, I waited for inspiration to come to me.
Mm.
And I would, be disappointed if it wasn't happening, or if there were long periods where I didn't feel like doing anything at all. And then I discovered that inspiration doesn't come to me, it comes through me.
Mm.
And so inside of that, I started to cultivate practices, rituals, ways of being that allowed me to be with my spirit. So I think of Inspire as being in my spirit. So we're both working together. And inside of that, I just like, it lights me up. I feel on fire. It's that sense of like, yes, this is exactly what I'm meant to be doing, and I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And at one point I called it my own personal red carpet feeling. Like I felt like my life was me walking my own personal red carpet.
Mhm. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and there's nothing like having a purpose that really brings joy to your life. And
Hmm.
and having that be inside of me is like it's a drive. Like, it's no matter what setbacks or failures or roadblocks come up, I still know that's what I'm meant to be doing.
And do you ever feel like you get off path, with it? I think a lot of times women, we can like forget, kind of like what you were saying earlier, like sometimes we forget about like, who am I like on the inside, and this like really deep, authentic soul version of ourselves. And so like, if that happens, like if does that happen to you, and if that does, um, how do you get back into that vibration and energy of having Inspire be a driving force?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. I do all the time. I'm very human.
Yeah.
Get off track. And for me, it's the relationship with words, which is another reason why I love Priestess Rising, because words do create things. They are the foundation of spells. And I've been studying most of the major religions, and all of them have a discourse about the power of words
Mm.
and how important words are. And people have been discovering that for centuries. And so for me, I always come back to the words. So if I'm feeling out of alignment and not inspired to do something, then I'll sit down and I'll start writing a love list, and I'll start really general with things that I love no matter what. Like, I love a warm drink on a cold afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
and I love cuddling up with my cats, or I love reading a good book, or I love a good long hug.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll riff on that for a few minutes, or as long as I like, until suddenly I'm like, oh yeah, like there's so many beautiful things in my life. And then from there, I feel more connected to my spirit. And so I'm very inspired. And without fail, something will come up from that 2 to 3 minutes of just thinking about all of the things that I love. And I'll be like, oh yeah, like this is what I want to do next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think this is an awesome time to, while we have all these viewers watching this, inviting them into this conversation by either right now, like pausing this video and taking out a piece of paper and set a timer for 2 or 3 minutes and just write your love list, or do it right after the call, or while you're listening to this, and see what comes up with it. And if you, Pamela, if you have any other directions for them, go ahead and share.
Yeah, the key is to not overthink it, and to not think that it needs to have a theme or a structure or a pattern. Like, go all over the place and just keep writing. There just don't pause. Don't try and censor yourself. Absolutely, just let anything flow.
Mm, I love that. And I think that helps tap us into gratitude. And that's just such a big key, that we can use to unlock any sort of stuck emotions or feelings or situations, and to be able to kind of rise above it and priestessly rise above it as we're
Yeah.
talking. And be able to see kind of the bigger picture and look into the lessons, and okay, wait, where am I maybe in alignment, where am I out of alignment, and go from there.
Yeah. yeah, definitely it's the key is alignment. And so coming back to being in spirit.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh, I love that. And so, what do you have like coming up? What are you most excited about right now?
I'm so excited about it's winter here in Ontario. And so the snow is falling today. I'm just looking out the window and it's just like a light, gentle falling snow. And so winter for me is such a time to go within.
Mm.
And I love cultivating a winter rituals around spending time more with the unseen than I do with the seen. And so I've been cultivating rituals around conversations with my ancestors. And I'm on this huge journey in discovering who were my great grandmothers and great grandfathers and what were their lives like and
Mm.
who were they in the world.
Hmm.
And then cultivating conversations with who they are now.
Cool. And can you give our viewer like a little bit more context in terms of how you do this?
Yeah, it's funny because when I say something like that, when I first heard someone talk like that, I was like, what is that? Like, how do you do that? But really, it's so simple, and that's why I love the rising part of priestess. It's not some magical thing that only a few people are able to do. It's for all of us. And so I have a scarf, a handkerchief that my grandfather used to wear in his coat pocket to church on Sundays. And so I will just sit with that handkerchief and I will hold it and I will be silent for a while. And then I will listen for what comes. It's really a process of just slowing down and allowing spirit to come and speak with you.
Mm. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's so much that you can get out of just starting that sort of relationship, that sort of dialogue um, with whoever your spirit is, right? Because we have all different cultures and religions here, and so but being able to start this dialogue, and whether you're seeing it as more of a dialogue externally or a dialogue within, um, and just giving yourself that time. I think so often we get caught up in the external, really, and what is seen. So I love how you kind of create that sort of separation, especially having it involved with the different seasons. Um, do you have any other like knowledge or wisdom that you can share with us? So um, as everyone is watching this in the first week of January, like, do you have any insight on how the seasons are going to be playing out for people, or like things that they can focus on, and so that way they can really utilize that time of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. So December 21st is the winter solstice. It's the longest night of the year. So the least amount of sunlight for us in this hemisphere. And so moving forward from there, from January, February, March, it starts to get a little bit lighter each day. And so to look for how things are awakening each day, both around us and inside of us, and noticing where is that desire? What am I looking forward to this spring and summer? What am I intending to plant or seed? So, what tools am I going to need in order to be ready to plant this spring and, cultivate this summer and enjoy the fruits of next fall? And so January is that beautiful time of like, what do I want? Like, what am I excited about? And what am I going to cultivate in my life moving forward? It's a beautiful time for that.
It definitely is. And I think it's a powerful time, like when you actually really utilize it, instead of just kind of like falling into the next year and just kind of keeping that sort of hamster wheel going.
Yes.
um, Being able to stop and take time for yourself, especially in that potent energy of like, okay, brand new start. um, it's There's so much intention that can be placed there, and that's where the intention, and then cultivating intention and attention to what you want, like immediately gets you more on the path to being aligned with what your soul's desires are. And I also know that you like to talk about tapping into that play and passion and the pleasure. Do you want to share a little bit more about how utilizing these different feelings and like really stepping into it help while being in this sort of time for change and time to go internal?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought this up. One of my core beliefs is that, or well, at least this is what I share, is that, if I am a spiritual being and I've chosen to have a human experience, then what is different for me about between being spiritual and human? And that is that I have all of these senses. I can touch things, I can smell things, I can taste things. And so inside of that, it's like, for me, that's play. Like when I can eat a really good cheese. I love cheese, and just savoring that slowly and being like, this is so amazing. One of the reasons why I love, essential oils and creating potions and such is that the smells, like it absolutely changes my mood. I put perfume on before bed just because like I love the scents. And so it's the little thing for me, it's the little things throughout the day, that sense of bringing that sense of playfulness. Like, why not put perfume on right now because I feel like it? Or why not burn some Palo Santo, just because. Mm-hmm. And so that sense of play, for me, takes out the should of it. Like, oh, I put this in my calendar, so that means I should do it. Or I know I want to be fit, so I should probably like dance right now, or go to the gym, or whatever it is. And so when I carry that energy of should into something, then the result of whatever it is that I'm doing is very different than when I cultivate that energy of playfulness. Like, wouldn't this be fun if?
Completely. Oh, I love that. And that's a big tool that I use. A great example is when I go for my morning run. I used to really try to get myself to go, and I'd be like, all right, I have to go do this run and to wake up and get my exercise in. And it was really amazing when I started shifting into like, I get to run today. This is amazing. And I would like run outside of my house just with like my arms open. I'm like, all right, I get to run, like get that energy going, even if we have to utilize the mind to like switch the feeling. Cause sometimes you're like, I just want to be inside cozy in my bed still. But it's like, I should, let go of the should. I get to, like, we get to experience life. We get to smell, we get to touch, play. It's so much more fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's like, you just described the power of words. Really, mm-hmm. It is vibrational medicine. It does affect how we behave and what inspires us and what we choose to do.
Mm-hmm, totally. And could you share again, just with the viewers, the free offering that you have? So anyone that's watching, we're going to have a link to Pamela's work. And would you like to share a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite things that I've discovered is the aspect of vibrational medicine. And so one of my gifts is that I can have a conversation with someone and I'm hearing their highest desires, what they really want and who they really are. And I also hear what's keeping them from that, and what's getting in the way or what's blocking them. But I can separate the two. And so inside of that, it's very easy for me to create an MP3 recording that is just the condensed version of their highest desires. Kind of like the I love list. Listening to this recording completely shifts one's energetic state, which is why I do it for myself every day. Yeah, and so I would love to offer a session to your viewers.
Awesome. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being here, for sharing these really potent pieces of your medicine and your wisdom. And big thank you to all of our viewers for coming and participating, doing your love list. I'm going to go do mine right now because that sounds really fun. And we'll see you all soon.
Amazing. Thank you, Rae. Bless you.
Bye.
Bye.